Hello, I'm gonna be talking about Governor McAuliffe's and President Trump's speeches. Okay. Um, First of all, let's talk about the Synax Analysis. As you can see, is that McAuliffe's he had a much bigger MLU compared to Trump's, and if you compare the two, you can see that McAuliffe had longer words and they were more complex with his sentences compared to Trump's, which his sentences were a lot shorter and simpler. With the semantic analysis, you can see that Governor McAuliffe, his numbers were a lot more distributed, not as evenly as Trump's, but you can see that it's a little bit more complex compared to Trump's, which is like 25% in each. With the rubric completion, when I did this, I could clearly see that this is right, as Governor McAuliffe would have a higher score, as his were a bit more complex, and the organization flew a little bit better compared to Trump's, that he would use simpler words and shorter phrases, and quickly got off topic. But with the engagement, they're the same thing, as throughout the speech, I kind of got lost interest. Alrighty then. The 5 courses of concept. Well, I got these 5, which was impression, stereotypes, the halo effect, selective perceptions, and projections. Most of these are really similar to each other, which impression, which is basically was the first impression that they got, which with Governor McAuliffe, his impression was a really negative impression of the white supremacists, along with the Nazis, as they are to spread hatred as their main focus, which it wouldn't be all of them, of course. And with President Trump's situation, that his impression is that news and media outlets only tell lies and tell fake news, as he has gotten this impression mainly of previous his events and during this speech of they didn't cover this mother's positive tweet. Alright, with stereotypes, almost similar to the impression is that now that Governor McAuliffe and President Trump, as they have gotten that impression, they will now stereotype those people as a negative perspective, as being hatred spreading or telling lies, mainly to separate the country. With the halo effect, similar to the previous two, but they also only focus on that one trait, which is to be negative, and that's what they would think about. With the selective perception, is that this one is that Trump wanted it, his main goal was to be praised, but actually didn't. And that's how, and then since they didn't select it, that perception that he wanted, now he is upset about it. With Mr. McAuliffe's situation is that he was so shocked that these groups existed, and so he questioned if there were any movements that actually bring people together to be against these groups, almost like ignoring all the marches, protests, and parades that have been going on years about these groups. And projection, similar to stereotyping, then President Trump only says that the news networks tell lies, fake news, and projects that those thoughts are similar to every news network and social media platforms. And as for Mr. McAuliffe, he projects that to be with other groups that are to spread hatred and bring and bring separation to the country. And lastly, thank you for taking your time. Have a good day.